how's everybody doing today? Hold on 1 second. Can't have that. There we go. That's better. Whew. Got about 8,000 things going on at my house today. They're cutting up the grass. They're doing all the stuff. They're fixing the garbage disposal. Anyway, make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell. We got all these promotions for you. Remember, these are all in the show box below. Caesar Sportsbook promotion up to $1,500. Video winners 15. I linked all the different states in the show box. So if you're just looking and not sure what your thing is for each state, you can just go in there and find it. Make sure you follow all the Max Wagers Network all day. Midday Money, Sean Higgs. Morning Wood, Ali Burns, Just Parlays, Tricks King. Back to the window, Scott and Scott. It's me at 5, and then at 5, it's game time decisions. Me 4 to 5. All right. Gonna bring in AM Plus money right away because I like all over the place today. How's it going, man? I'm running around like crazy. They got the plumbing and heating guy. This what is it? Highland Home Services. If you need anybody, they're digging up all my beds and ripping up the mulch. That wasn't supposed to be till the weekend, but here they are.
Bill, it's better than doing it yourself, right?
Yes, man. This sounder stunk last night. Yeah, look, man, brutal. My max, the premium. I'm doing really good with my premium plays on the site now, and just I had LAFC, Philly under hit. The game that was crazy to me was that NYCFC game. I mean, that was I don't know where. That was crazy. 4-4. This is going over all over the place.
Yeah, that New York City one was even had a disallowed goal for Cincinnati. They took a 5-4 lead in like the last 5 minutes, and then they disallowed it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm gonna share the screen here so we can look at some of these games from yesterday. I looked at some of these, and that Minnesota United Galaxy game was weird to me. The Philly Union Chicago Fire. I mean, we were pretty on with that. Like we knew it was going to be low scoring.
I'm disappointed in Philly. I thought they would come to play, win that one. That was just.
I don't think they're that good, to be honest. I know they're like near the top of the table, but look, I mean, you can't be. And we'll talk about the Red Bulls who have a chance to go to the top of the table. You can't be a good team. You played 17 games and only won 7, and you're at the top of the table. How bad is this league? If you've won 7 of 17 games and you lead the league, I mean, that's embarrassing. Like they have 8 draws. They just every game they want to win 1-0. I drives me nuts because if you give up a goal in a game like that as a team, you're chasing the game the entire game, and they actually didn't give up a goal. They gave up a late goal. I think that game, where was that? That came in like the 70th, 68th minute, yeah, and then 4 minutes later they get a red card. So
yeah. I wouldn't say they're an awful team. They do have a really good defense. It's just they don't score goals, and that's their issue. And it cropped up again yesterday when you're playing the worst team in the MLS, not just your conference, the whole MLS, and you can't even put a goal in. Like that says it all right there. So extremely disappointed from their effort.
I looked at these games yesterday, and I really, I think the LAFC game was the game. If I was going to bet just one, and they didn't, first half they didn't play great, but they came through and it counted. They're clearly a team, I think, with 2 decent wins in the last week that you really can count on in this league. I don't know looking at, Bill liked the Portland game yesterday. I don't know if he took that, Bill, if you ended up taking that Portland game. We like that. We like the over a little bit. I think we like the over 1.5. So those all hit. And the other game I liked yesterday. Oh man, where is it? I like the in the Copa Copa Sudamericana. I know we liked. I liked. Can't even find it now. Well, Palmeiras won easily. Flamengo came through in that game and won 1-0, which I thought was pretty interesting. Sierra, won 2-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think maybe that was the Tuesday game. The Tuesday game I liked in that was the Nacional. And then we talked about that Nacional game, and they won pretty easily. Paranense won. And this was the worst. Did you watch this game?
Oh, I know that one was terrible, man. Like, they played well in the first half, and they had some chances to extend that lead. And then in the second half, it was so garbage. A penalty, a red card, and then they get a penalty in like the 85th to have a chance to win with the red card, and the keeper saves it. And the same thing happened to me in the Corinthians. The keeper saved a penalty kick just before half in that Corinthians match. So, like, I was on the wrong end of 2 missed penalties. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that Jeff. England. I liked England women today. I mean, I was kind of looking at that. I mean, they had to score 4 goals in the second half to do it, but it's just soccer is crazy like this, where you find these games and you're like, man, Guardians tied it up. I don't even know the. We'll pull up the MLB scores here. Yeah, 3-3, bottom of the 8th. The some of these games, man, you just like you handicap it perfectly, and you just can't. You can't legislate for the human condition. Sometimes these guys are like, "What are you doing, man? Why are you getting sent off right now? Like, what? Your team needs you." But it is what it is. I mean, the good thing is you're like around the game. You're like handicapping it properly, and you're like around the game. You're once again, I always say, like, I'd rather be doing that than kind of. It stings when you lose a game like that, but you handicapped it properly.
Yeah, at least the first half cashed for that Atletico Mineiro too. So that was good about that one. It was good to take that first half. But that was totally, that second goal could have helped out a lot if you had the money line, the full match, and if you had the team total over 1.5 there. Like, it's just where it doesn't happen often when you miss a penalty. Whether the keeper saves it or you just miss the net, it doesn't happen often. And it happened twice on that Tuesday, both in games I was on. So very disappointing, but what are you going to do? You just got to bounce back. And then next time we'll be on the right side of that.
Yeah, I remember watching. I was streaming it was September 19th. I was streaming all the games for a tournament. It was like 10 matches. There's 16 games. It was all soccer games, and I was streaming them. And I was watching the United and West Ham game, and United was winning. It was 2-1 or 3-2, and they West Ham got a penalty in like the 95th minute. I was just like so mad. I'm like, and my stream was behind because it was on Fubo, and like everybody was going crazy. And I'm streaming, so I couldn't watch. And then like I had it on. And then I saw him actually save the penalty. And I'd already thought like they had thrown the 2 points away, and he actually saved it. And I was going nuts. But it doesn't happen very often. You more often than not, 9 times, 95 times out of 100, the guy makes it. Do you, there's only really one Copa Libertadores play tonight. There's 3 Sudamericana games. Any interest in those games today?
Yeah, not really looking at any of those. Really, was looking more towards the weekend. Don't have a strong feel on any of these.
Yeah, this Fortaleza Estudiantes La Plata, it's a Fortaleza is plus 108. Independiente del Val is minus 167 at home against Lannis. But I know Lannis is, over the years been able to pull off some pretty interesting results here in this tournament specifically. The Argentine teams do pretty well. And these other two games, I mean, I just you look at the line, you're like, man, it's a toss up. So how about the there we go. How about the MLS games tonight? You have any kind of plays on this the two MLS games? I actually like both of them. Maybe see what your thoughts are on these.
You're taking your Austin FC on the road at a plus 220 again?
I think there's a couple ways you could bet this. You could do double chance. Austin FC or draw is minus 127.
See, I don't know if I like Austin FC. I know they've been cashing really at this line all year, but Charlotte, they got the best, or one of the best, second best home record in the MLS, and they're not a team, or I guess it would be the fourth best, but they're one of the better teams. Definitely, they're second in the East for home record, and they're not a team I feel comfortable fading at home.
Yeah, they've got they picked up most of their points at home.
6 wins, 2 losses out of their 8. So
yep. Let me pull this up here.
And they only have 6 wins all year, so they all came at home, and definitely not a team I want to so much fade. I mean, Austin's really good on the road. They score a lot, but they do concede a lot too. So maybe this one ends in a draw. Charlotte hasn't drawn yet at home this year, but I don't know. I don't have a strong feel on this one. I know you said you liked it, so I'm interested.
Yeah, I just I think you can either go but Austin FC or draw at minus 127, pick up 2 of the 3 because Austin FC is when you look at the table, Charlotte's in 21st, Austin's in 6th. That's overall in the whole of the MLS. I'm not looking at Eastern. You go Eastern Conference. Charlotte is in 10th, and in the West, Austin FC is in 3rd right now. So, man, people calling for plays right now. It's crazy.
But I'm not a fan how they do the East and West. Really not a fan.
Yeah, the goal seems to be they're adding teams like crazy. Like just, if you have to make it like make 2. If you're going to do that, then make it 2 leagues. Make it the Eastern Conference 20 teams like the Premier League, the Western thing 20 teams, whatever. You play your league, and then you have this huge game at the end. The 2 winners play, and you don't have to play whatever. It will cut down on travel, it'll cut down on stuff. I mean, if you want to do that, like I don't understand. There's I don't even know how many teams there are. 29.
28, I think.
There's 28. There's 28 teams, and then St. Louis is coming in next year, and some of the other teams. And you only play 36 games, so you don't play everybody twice.
Yeah, and that's even more than there's more teams than the English Championship League now, and they have a ton of teams in that league. So
the English Championship is 24 teams, but they and they play 46 teams. They play everybody twice. It's an equal schedule. You can't I don't know how they you're playing 13, so 26 and 26 and 14. They don't play 40 games, so you're not playing the same. Everybody's not playing the same schedule. So, to me, like at the end of the day, it's not at the end of the championship. If you know Fulham wins and beats out Bournemouth by 5 points, they beat it's because they played the exact same schedule or the same teams. Some teams are stronger and weaker depending on the transfer window and all that stuff. But you're playing the same teams home and away, and whoever won got the most points wins. This is crazy. You get this, and then you go into the playoffs, and then you could finish sixth and be like the champions. I don't. I always think I don't think that the MLS needs to put more emphasis on the supporters shield at the because the team that finishes with the most points should get more credit because you did it over the course of a season. Well, I know they don't do that. Bill said he's on the Liberty -5 today on the WNBA. We could look at that later. And he says both teams to score and over for Austin.
I could see that happening for sure.
I have that up here. Both teams to score.
Just because, Charlotte, they're good at home. They're obviously one of the better teams in the league at home. They're going to come with their best effort here. Austin, we know, is just good in general. They've been actually pretty decent on the road, and they score a lot of goals, but they also allow a lot of goals on the road. So absolutely, I could see them scoring a goal. Charlotte's not that great. They're really not that great. They don't have a good defense, so definitely could see them scoring. And then again, like I said, Charlotte's going to come with their best effort at home here because this is the only place they've been able to pick up 3 points in games all year. So they're going to try to score. I doubt either team gets shut out in this one. So that actually might be a really good way to look at that game.
Yeah, both teams to score here. Charlotte 5 out of 6 and Austin 6 out of 7. Austin's also more than 2.5 goals here, 6 out of 7. Charlotte FC first to concede 5 out of 7. So these teams, they give up a lot of goals. They score a lot of goals. I mean, you see Austin FC here. I mean, there's the 1-0, but everything else 2-2, 4-1, 4-1, 2-2, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, 3-0. There's another 1-0 there. Same thing, 2-1, 1-1, 2-0, 2-1. I mean, there's a lot of goals in these games. So, if you're over is only -130, so it's actually not a bad play. And I think maybe, when you look at over goals by Charlotte, over 1.5 is -103. Austin FC is +180. So, there's another way maybe you can make a little money here. But yeah, I think both teams are scoring over. Could be pretty.
And I love these plays in the MLS because the MLS I view almost like the Bundesliga where it's just a high scoring league. I see a lot of these 3-2, 4-4 kind of games where teams are scoring. And I think it all comes down to just sloppiness and there's not a big enough emphasis on defense. And we'll go back to an example you already brought up. Look at the Philadelphia Union, probably one of the best defensive teams in the MLS. They've only won 7 games, but you're sitting in second place at the top of your conference because teams aren't focused on defense in this league.
Yeah, definitely. And it's, I think there's going to be, I just think when some teams play, I think you can just kind of say, you know what, I'm going to lean towards team total over. I'm going to lean towards the over in the game. These numbers here all to me, when you're looking at team total over 1.5 at +185 for Austin, and they're scoring goals like crazy. I would lean towards the over. I think you're going to probably end up making some money in that. The other game tonight is New York Red Bulls and Atlanta United FC. Any kind of thoughts on that game?
I mean, it's hard to find value here just because, you got the money line is so juiced and the total is so juiced as well. Because if anything, I would probably lean to the over in this one. I watched the Red Bulls play. Who was it over the weekend? I think it was LAFC, right? They lost 2-0, but they put up a good fight in that match. I thought they had a lot of chances to score, and for a while there, they were really getting to LAFC. LAFC obviously showed up in a span of about 5 minutes between the 60th and the 70th minute. And that was the match right there. But I think this Red Bulls team is pretty good, and I really don't think Atlanta is that great. I know they've been a good team in the past in the MLS, but I don't think they're that team anymore. And they've never really been great on the road. They've always been a home dominant team. So I might even be looking at the Red Bulls maybe to keep a clean sheet in this one.
Yeah, we'll see what those are. Red Bulls. Red Bull win to nil is plus 235. Red Bull to keep a clean sheet. Yeah, Atlanta United under 0.5 is plus 190. So it's an interesting way to play it as well. I think their definitely offers you some value there.
Yeah, and like the stats don't say like this. If you look at the stats, Atlanta, they've been scoring goals on the road. So the stats definitely don't go that way, but I just don't think they're good enough to keep up with this Red Bulls team. And I watched them play LAFC. I thought they were very good. And I think being back at home here against a lesser team, I think they can shut the door on them.
Yeah. And there's basically like, let me look. When you look at these, I don't think there's anything on the schedule tomorrow. Are there Brazilian games tomorrow, Friday?
No, I think they're on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, the final of the U19 Euros, but a lot of times, yeah, you can.
I know there's a cup match today in the Brazilian Cup, but I have no interest. It's America MG and Botafogo.
And they're playing another cup match?
Yeah, you had to sandwich one in. Come on. Because while everybody's playing their Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana, they figured out, here's the lesser teams, just shove it in there. Everybody else is playing.
Get a decent value. America's minus 120. I mean, if you're interested, under 2.5 goals is minus 205 in this game, which means I'm going to. One goal changes the game. There's no way. I'm not taking that game. I already see that stuff. That scares me off a little bit. So,
yeah. So definitely like two teams that aren't that strong there. And I don't know the motivation for both teams if they even care about this match. Like if you look at their last round, America MG, I think they won 5-0 on aggregate, a 3-0 win and a 2-0 win, and then Botafogo won 6-0 on aggregate, 3-0 and 3-0. So both teams, if you look at it, like it seems like they care about the cup. So it's tough to say. It's really tough to say, especially when a team wins on the road after they've already had a 3-0 or 2-0 lead at home, and then they go and win 2-0 and 3-0 again on the road. That tells me they're trying. But at the same time, two bad teams. It's really tough to say. I don't like cup matches as it is, and then two teams like this, really no interest.
Just quickly, because Bill mentioned it, he's on the Liberty. Liberty are 8-10, Dreamer 8-11. But the Dream are 2-8 in their last 10, lost 3 in a row. Liberty have been playing better, 7-3, 1-2, and they're 5.5. So that's Bill's play for today. He likes the Liberty. He likes them actually at -5. I don't know if you're a WNBA player, but give that out. Sometimes I find some value. Like Rick Fortenbaugh's on. He's a big Mystics guy, so they keep kind of winning. Saturday, if you
they're at home.
Yeah, the best team, right? You got it. Yeah, exactly. I think you can win some money with those teams, but I just, once again, like I don't follow it enough to. Sometimes people will ask about certain sports, and I just say I don't really follow it. I'm sure you could win some money. It's just like the tennis the other day. I know Bill was asking about the tennis. Saturday, which leagues were you kind of folk? Just Brazil and the MLS, or any other things?
Yeah, just Brazil and the MLS. I might be looking into the Nicaraguan league soon. We'll see. I don't even know if they're going right now, but I might start looking at them just because they are. It's a league I used to cap, so I'm familiar with the
Yeah,
teams, and I love those
yeah,
10 team like small leagues. I find them easy to get a handle on.
yeah. I did it. I did some. I was writing daily stories during the pandemic on that league. I mean, when that and Belarus and Taiwan were the only three leagues going, like, man, I was caught. And then all of a sudden, they're like, "How come you're not writing any stories about Belarus?" I'm like, man, like there's actually other leagues going on, man, where the games aren't 0-0 and 1-0 every game.
Yeah.
Saturday, Fluminense Corinthians is the first game, 3:30. There's two 3:30 games. There's two 6 o'clock games, and then there's a 8 p.m. game. And then some of the big boys playing. Which of those? I mean, I would imagine that you're looking at Atletico Mineiro right away against Juventud. Which of those games kind of sticks out?
Yeah, so definitely a Saturday heavy card in my opinion because they have all the better teams going that day just because of the Copa Libertadores and Sudamericana going.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I was not impressed with Atletico Mineiro the other day, and now that they're coming off that 1-1 draw, like I don't know if they play again on the Tuesday or the Wednesday, but they're gonna have to try in that home game. I mean, they probably won't have to put too much effort into win, but still, they put themselves in a position where they can't rest players on what is it? It's on the 5th.
I think they play on Tuesday. Yeah, it's Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
already they're playing on the first day of the tournament. Basically, Tuesday would be the start. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And
Yep.
That's I don't like that. You got like 3 days rest, and you didn't look great in the last game. Now you forced yourself where you have to play in this game at home. I don't want to take Juventude because I don't think they're a good team at all. Like they allow way too many goals. But I'm almost intrigued by the draw at this price just because Juventude might come, they're at home, they might come with the mindset like, we can steal some points off this team. This is kind of like a sandwich game for them, and they need to win their next one in the Copa Libertadores. They're not going to be focused on us. So I almost find just a bit, maybe not a big play, maybe like a half unit, but a little bit on the draw at plus 250. I kind of like that spot just because Mineiro is not going to be focused on this game. I don't think so.
And then, I see, the Juventude and draw is plus 100. So the draw is at plus 240, but you can get the double chance as well at plus 100. So just kind of another way. I don't know if you really think Juventude is going to win the game, but maybe they get another goal from them.
So I don't think they have a chance of winning the game, but I do think the draw has the value because of what I said, coupled with the fact that Atletico Mineiro, if you look at their away record in the league this year, they're 1-4-1. So they only have one away win this year, and they already have 4 draws racked up. So this is a team that even when they didn't have Copa Libertadores going on, in between, well, I guess they would have had the group stage too, but even during a stretch where there wasn't a lot of matches, they're still drawing on the road. So that's why I kind of think like this is maybe just a throwaway match for them. I don't think they really care too much about this one.
How about some of these other games here? I know Sierra picked up a huge win Wednesday, so they're playing Wednesday, Saturday night, International, but Santos Flamengo, Palmeiras, Atletico Paranaense, both big wins. Fluminense, Corinthians, anything on those?
Yeah, so I was actually leaning towards Fluminense at home here just because they don't really have anything going on. They have the Copa do Brazil, but they haven't really played. They just played a cup match, and they won't have another one till the 12th. So they actually have 3 league matches in between that. And Fluminense, they've been in really good form, including their cup match. They've won their last 3, and they've won 4 of their last 6 with only 1 loss in that span. Corinthians didn't impress me against Boca Juniors. That was their chance to really take a lead into the second half, the second leg. They came out with the 0-0 draw, and they missed the penalty kick, which pissed me off. But at the same time, I think, again, they've put themselves in a position where now next week they're going on the road to Argentina, and that's something they're going to have to try for. So I don't see them starting a strong lineup in this game. And considering Fluminense really has nothing else to play for, but maybe getting into Copa Libertadores for next year. So let's work on moving up the table. I think this is a good spot for Fluminense at home to pick up 3 points. And I would even look at Fluminense to keep a clean sheet, because Corinthians hasn't scored in their last 2 matches now. And if they're not going to put out a strong lineup here because they're looking ahead to that Copa Libertadores match in Argentina, I think this is easily probably a shutout win for Fluminense.
Let's see what else we got here. And you get them at decent money. Just some of these games, I know Atletico Paranaense, is pretty good. Palmeiras beat them 2-0 here, minus 265. That seems a little high. I know they just won 3-0. Is that line a little bit high for you there?
I think it's right, because I wasn't exactly sure what Palmeiras was going to do in the last match, and even after the end of their long travel, they still managed to come up with the 3-0 win. It took them about a whole half to get going, but they scored 3 goals. They came out with the win there, and now they're at home, starting a little bit of a home stretch. I believe they're at home for let's see here, 2 more. 4 of their next 5 are at home, and 5 of the next 7. So they're actually in a little bit of a home stretch here. They can finally relax with the travel. And they've put themselves in a position where they don't even need to try in the next Copa Libertadores match. They could just cruise out of there with a 0-0 draw at home, too, because they have the 3-0 lead away. So they really, I think this is a spot where they're probably going to win, because even Atletico PR isn't they're obviously they won their match 2-1, but they still have to go on the road next week. And if they give up a goal, then all of a sudden you're right back at 0-0. So, because this, so that's just one I see probably Palmeiras wins that game. And it was hard for me to find value on that.
Okay. What else do we have? Anything on, you like that? Those Sierra or Santos with those kind of plus money and all these things, but really, I think probably tough plays there, right?
So Santos and Flamengo, I kind of like the draw again, just because I'm finding value on the draw there. Just because Flamengo. So the one time I don't back Flamengo while they're playing in awful form, they decide we're going to go win on the road in Colombia 1-0. But they're still not in great form. Like, you look at their 2 wins, 1-0, not a convincing win on the road in Colombia. So obviously different country, tougher circumstances, but also, that's a competition they were really trying for. I doubt there's anything they want to win more than that. And then, especially when you're a team like Flamengo, who's had such success in the Copa Libertadores, even becoming the club world champion of the Club World Cup a few years ago against, I believe they beat Liverpool in the final. I think they were the club world champion that year. But anyway, they've had massive success before in this competition, so I have no doubt that this is a competition they're looking forwards to. Their 3-0 win before that was against America MG, so not a very good team. And this is just one, look at their last couple on the road here. Besides the Colombia match, you have a 2-1 loss, a 2-0 loss. They're not playing good on the road. They haven't been a good road team all year with just 1 win. And the Santos team, look at their last few matches. They have 1 win and 1 loss in their last 8 matches, 6 draws. And if you want to extend that back to 9, if you want to extend that back to 11 matches, they have 8 draws, 2 losses, 1 win. So this is a team that's been drawing a whole ton, and I don't see them. I don't like. This is again one where I still think Flamengo 1-0 leads not enough. Really, I know they're playing at home in their next match, but I expect them. They're probably going to be focused on that and want to score some goals. And then and then Santos, I just think, they've been drawing so much. They're at home here. Again, they're coming off a draw in their Sudamericana, and they're going to be at home for their next match too, but they're going to have to try and win that one. So I kind of see like neither team given a full effort in this game, and I could see it being just a boring one that comes out as a draw.
Foxy's talking about Deportivo Cali last night. Absolute disgrace. 2 red cards within 3 minutes. Played like a friendly. Fans never turned up. Strange atmosphere. I did not see what that was. Let me see. 0-0 at home. So, yeah, look at that. 85th, 89th. Man, these games are good for some cards. I'll tell you that. The card plays are always pretty interesting. So what about some of these MLX games on Saturday or the weekend? I guess I don't know which games. Maybe there's not. Once again, here we go. 20 games on Sunday, 2 on Saturday. So what do you, anything for Saturday?
Yeah, funny enough, I like both these games on Saturday.
Okay. So, Toronto FC and Seattle and 7:30 match, and then Vancouver against LAFC. LAFC at plus 100, which is interesting. So I think I know where I'm targeting there. But go ahead with this.
Yeah.
The
so
first game, Seattle.
We'll start with my hometown here, good old Toronto FC. So they're a dog crap team, as we know. But lately they haven't been awful. I will say that. I'll give them some credit. They've been playing a little better, and they tend to play their best at home. Now, they're a team where their defense is crap. They give up a lot of goals, and that's going to hurt here, especially against a team like Seattle. These two teams have very long history in the MLS because Toronto and Seattle are probably the 2 most decorated teams of the MLS when it comes to titles. So both of these teams already have that history going. They're both going to want to play hard in this match, and I kind of find some value here on the team totals. If you look at the 2 team totals, both the over 1.5s for each team, plus 110 for Toronto and plus 100 for Seattle. Now, if you look at the actual total, they're giving you minus 160 or higher for the over 2.5. So clearly the books think this game is going to be, game is, they think it's going to be an over. I think it's going to be an over, yet they don't think either team's going to score 2 goals. So that makes me very curious. But I also just think that if you take both, you're bound to cash one of them or even both, just because Toronto FC, they've been scoring at home lately. So they lost their last match 2-1 to Columbus, but they scored in that one. They won 2-1 against Atlanta, 4-0 against Montreal, 3-2 against Chicago. So this is a team that's scoring. But if you notice, they're also allowing goals. Obviously, Seattle being the better team, coming off a poor performance at home, I expect them to be better here. I could see them scoring 2 goals on Toronto's bad defense. I could also see Toronto scoring on Seattle, considering they didn't look that great against Montreal. And Toronto is going to try in this game. They play their best at home. So this is one where I think if you take both team totals, you're bound to come out even at least.
He wants to know he can feature on July 9th. Is the first time in Sydney can play there for Toronto. But yeah, I think, that's, you talked about these team totals and the over totals. That's one thing that I've been looking at a lot lately. And I just, I don't know if it's the books don't know, how to handicap it thing. They don't want to, I don't know. But if you take, plus 104 and plus 118, and they both, one of them goes over, you're winning money. It might not be a lot, but you're still winning money. If both of them go over, you're winning a lot of money. So, I think there's a chance to do that instead of maybe, Now the Asian handicap, sometimes you can slide the line, but even at over 2.75, it's minus 125. So over 3 is plus 107. So 3 pushes. So, you know, I don't know. I just think sometimes that's interesting. You're all. I almost think it's better sometimes to look at team total overs than it is to look at game total overs. I think you have a better chance to make more money doing that because there's more often than not, over 1.5 or over 2.5 in a game, that you're targeting. You're looking at it, and it's going to be plus money.
Yeah, and especially when you got the total for over 2.5 is minus 163, yet plus money for both team totals. Someone has to score 2 goals to get that game over. Okay,
yeah,
and
exactly.
Odds are this could end in a 2-2 draw. So you're making money, and the best thing about that team total is really the game doesn't have to go over for you to cash one, because if you sit in there, really the only way you don't cash is with a 1-1 draw or a 0-0 draw. But yeah, if you get like a 2-0 or 3-0, absolutely, all of a sudden one of those cashes at least,
and you're winning money. Yep. If it's plus 118 and plus 104, and if you throw 100 down, you win. You clear. You win 118 and you lose 100. You're up $18. So it is what it is.
And I just want to touch on what Bill said here, because, I get this a lot. A lot of people are afraid to bet draws. And every time, like, I've had people ask me for plays or my friends, and I tell them, take the draw in this game, they always get scared. And they look at me like, I don't like betting draws. And the most common thing I always hear is draws are hard to cash. And I always respond the same way every time. How are the draws hard to cash? Just because the books tell you they're hard because they have the biggest odds? But if you think realistically about it, the draw is the easiest to cash, because the game starts as a draw. And all you need is both teams to either do nothing or just score 1 goal each. So personally, I love the draw, especially when teams are evenly matched. And I think there's just a lot of value on it. You don't even have to put a full unit to make a full unit back. So
I think the other thing too is if you bet the draw at plus 275, like just use this game here in Vancouver, plus 275, and it's a 75th minute, and it's 1-1. I mean, you can probably cash it out, and you're going to make money. I mean, if it's plus 275, I mean they're going to offer you. They're going to offer you winning money to cash that out in the 75th minute. So, I mean, there's ways to, sometimes I just say, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with the last 15 minutes of a match. I'm just going to cash this out and take my money. And people always say like, oh, you're leaving like, sometimes with parlays, I'll do that. And you're like, yeah, you're leaving like $80 on the table. Yeah. But I just, I'm up 300. Like, I'm not worried about 380. If I'm up 300, I don't even have to worry about, like, it's a 2-1 game or something like this. There's a lot of times when I have these parlays, specifically like 14 parlays, and the first 3 hit, and I debate. I'm like, should I just cash this out and take the money, or do I let it ride? And then the other team, the losing team, the team I need to win, goes down a goal or something like this. And you're just waiting for them to get ahead, and then just like if they ever do get ahead, like in the 65th minute, you're like, I'm cashing this out. Like, I can't be bothered with it anymore. I'll lose $60, or I'll leave $60 on the table, but I know I already won. So like, I think sometimes with the draw bet, you can do that, and that's the thing with the live, not live betting, but the cashing out now. You don't necessarily have to wait till the end of the game to get your money. So I think that's just another way to do it. So
yeah, and I totally agree with you there, because like personally, I hate to cash out, but soccer's the one sport where throw all the rules in the garbage, because I've been screwed by so many 90th minute goals. If a game hits like somewhere in the 80s or the 70s and I get an uneasy feeling about it, I'm cashing it out, because 10 minutes is a whole lot of time, and I've seen too many games go to the graveyard.
I have
especially with the 95th minute.
Oh man, I have a pretty good feel for when games are turning. Like, Like I sometimes I'll be watching. A lot of times I won't watch the games. I bet or whatever. But sometimes I'll be watching the game, and you're just like, what, this game's starting to turn. I'm just gonna cash out here, and then like 2 minutes later, goal comes or something, and then like, or whatever. Like, there's been so many times I've cashed bets out, and legitimately, like a minute later, the team scores, and like it used like I there's been times when I've wanted in the past before I started to learn this, like the game and stuff. I'm like, I'm gonna catch this out, and I'm like, wait, and then they give up a goal, and I'm just like I should have just cashed it out. And like I get to the point now where I'm like, I'm not worried about if I have like a $40 parlay and it's like gonna hit for like three something, and they're offering me, say it's gonna hit for 340, and they're offering me like 280 in this 280 in the 70th minute, and then it's like, all right, 287, 288, like it's just at some point I'm like, I'm just gonna take the money. Like I can't, I'm not throwing away $300 because I'm trying to make $350.
Yeah, and a great example is that Philly New York game. Like if you cash that out 85th minute, you're golden. You wait till the end of that, you no longer won your bet with an 89th and a 95th minute goal.
The other thing too is like a lot of times you get to like injury time, they won't even let you cash out. So you're like, a lot. It's like some of the apps, man, I go to cash out and they won't offer. But I stopped using some of those for those plays because, I can't. If you're not gonna let me cash out, man, that's kind of crap. But
yeah, and one book I love actually for soccer is the Bet365 because they early pay out after 2 goals. So I've been paid out on so many teams that take a 2-0 lead, and then before I look at, they're down 3-2 in the second half, and I'm like, whatever, I cashed already.
I agree. Yep. Foxy, I know Foxy's good with these draw parlays. He'll parlay like 3 teams on the draw, and it pays like crazy money. And it just it's. There's a lot of games where I know going in, I'm like, this game's probably a draw. The Premier League, there's 10 games every weekend, and I probably try to target like 2 of them because I'm like, this game's going to be 1-1. This game's going to be like, or close. It's going to, or maybe 2-1, one way or the other, whatever it is. So, the other Saturday game is LAFC at Vancouver. LAFC is plus 100. I don't know which way you're going with this. Do you think LAFC, I think, is starting to get hot here?
Yeah, so this is one I was actually looking to fade LAFC on.
Okay.
And
is it because Vancouver's starting to play better?
Vancouver is very hot right now. That is a big factor of it. If you look, they've won, I believe, 4 of their last 5 games. Now I'm just pulling it up here. Yeah, so they've won actually 5 of their last 6 now. Their only loss was 4-0 in Seattle, but they've been a crazy good team at home. 2-1 win in the Canadian. That doesn't really mean anything to me, but 2-1 to Salt Lake win at home. They haven't played a lot of games at home recently too, and they've been winning a lot. 2-1 win to Dallas. Another 2-0 win at home.
A lot of over 2.5s in these home games.
Yeah, and so that was actually one thing I want to touch with because, obviously LAFC is a great team, and this is one I don't feel comfortable with the draw or even taking Vancouver to win, so to say. But going back to those team totals that you love so much, you're getting plus 150 for a Vancouver over 1.5 team total, and even minus 120 for an LAFC team total. And like, if you look at LAFC, I know they've been really good and really hot lately, but they're not like lately on the road. They've been giving up some goals. Like they tied obviously 1-1 in Seattle, very good team there. But look at this cup match, 3-1 loss to LA Galaxy. I know it's a cup match, but that's your rival team. You don't want to lose. You don't want to lose to like literally down the street team. Then they got a win 2-0 in Columbus, but then again, 2-0 loss in Colorado. So they seem to give up goals in these road situations. And even Cincinnati, they beat 2-1 a few weeks ago on the road, and like they let Cincinnati score a goal in that game. So I'm almost leaning, maybe not to LAFC, but I'm almost leaning just to the Vancouver over 1.5 at the plus 150.
Yeah.
Just because of that. And if you actually look at the history between these two teams, they've played each other over 10 times now since LAFC came into the league back in, I think it was 2018. LAFC only has one win in Vancouver, and it was in that 2018 year. They have not won in Vancouver ever since then, ever again. So this is when I think Vancouver heating up.
They got some ugly results in Los Angeles, 6-1, 6-0.
Yeah, they weren't very good, Vancouver.
6-0's COVID year, so you got to throw that out a little bit. But LAFC won 6-0, and then a month later, Vancouver won 2-1. Vancouver won 2-1 last year in Vancouver. So I see a lot of 2-1s in Vancouver. So yeah, this year LAFC has a 3-1 win from March. But yeah, LAFC has been a little bit shaky on the road, like you said, and this might be a chance to maybe, you got Whitecaps and draw is minus 121, so you get both outcomes there. If you want to go that way as well, so there's a couple different ways to play this.
Yeah, and even just what is it? The last 4 matches alone, the last 2 in Vancouver, Vancouver's won 2-1 and 2-1. Sorry, they've won. What is it? Oh, they've won the last 3, 2-1, 2-1, and 1-0. The last 3 in Vancouver. Now,
yes,
throw in the fact that Canada is just a pain in the ass to travel to now with all these restrictions. Like, who knows if they're going to leave somebody behind because of vaccination status, or just like the way they have to travel up here. I know a lot of teams are busing it across the border and then catching their flights like out of Washington. Like, just it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I'm almost thinking that maybe they even have a bad mindset coming into this game. Like, we don't want to go travel there and play. So I think there's just value on the Whitecaps, considering how well they've been playing lately.
I just want to say hi to Lex. How's it going, man? These guys always tune in. Lex, Bill, Foxy, always Abdi. Foxy said earlier on Ali and Lenny's show, soccer seems to have broken in the top 4 sports in the U.S. now, ahead of hockey on the way to overtake baseball. Look, I'll be honest, soccer betting, if you're talking about betting, soccer is the biggest in the world. I think probably now soccer's ahead of baseball in popular. Soccer gets bigger numbers, ratings wise, than some of these other sports. I know it gets bigger ratings than hockey and probably most of the baseball games. Baseball's really regional, so it's whatever. Like sometimes there's national broadcasts, but these soccer broadcasts, the Champions League final, and these big games get huge numbers now. So I would agree. I'm biased. I think it's the biggest sport in the world, but it is what it is. Bill, how about the parlay both Saturday games over in that game? It's 59. I think it's interesting. But also both of those parlays still pay less than the team total for Vancouver over 1.5 as well. So, it's a different way to play it. I think you could probably do that. But, if you think they're both go over 2.5 goals, you could do that. But, you could also probably maybe find another way to make more money with parlaying like a team total over. If you're confident in Vancouver, or you're confident in Seattle, or you're confident in, let me see, Seattle here, you think they're going to score over 1.5 goals, and Vancouver over 1.5 goals. That's plus 430. If you don't think Vancouver does, and you take LAFC, you think they do, minus 122. That's plus 271. So Seattle over 1.5, LA over 1.5 is minus 122, which to me seems like pretty good odds. So there's a different way to do it, but I think both ways could work. I know there's a lot of these Sunday games. Obviously, once again, here we go, 5 o'clock Sunday on July 4th. weekend. I guess they're not expecting a lot of people to be watching. Any of these games that you like here?
Not a fan of that first one, but I was looking at this Columbus and Philadelphia game. Now we just got burned on the Philadelphia, but they've been a strong under team all year. The under's a little juiced if you want to pay. What is it, -140 around that price for the under 2.5? I mean, go ahead. It's probably a good play. I don't see there being more than 2 goals in this match, but I was even looking at. Let's see, where is it? I'm just trying to find it now.
Foxy also says the Mexican League restarts this weekend. So I think you bet that. I forget if you bet that league.
Yeah, I've bet it before. I'm familiar with the teams there, so I'll be taking a look.
The guy Rick Fortenbaugh, he likes to watch those games, and I mean, it's just that the Mexican League is I feel like is the opposite a little bit of these MLS games where like every game is like 1-0. Like it's a lot of low scoring games.
Yeah. So the play I was looking at in this Columbus was Columbus to keep a clean sheet. And right now I'm seeing +175 for that. But I just think after watching Philadelphia play yesterday in a horrendous offensive performance, as always, I don't expect them to do much on the road here again. If they couldn't really score a goal on Chicago, the worst team in the MLS, I don't expect them to score on Columbus here, who just came out of Toronto with a 2-1 win. Columbus hasn't been great this year, but they're playing better now. They've always had a good midfield and defense. So I think that they can keep Philly off the board. I just don't expect Philly to have a strong attack in this game. I don't even think Columbus is going to score that many goals on Philadelphia here, but I would lean to Columbus winning this match for sure. I don't see Philadelphia after the way we watched them perform. I just don't see them scoring in this match on Columbus.
Yeah, you can get them right here at +200 on the under 0.5, which is definitely pretty interesting odds. We're almost out of time here. Any of these other? I don't really love these. I know, like Houston, Charlotte, probably waiting to see what happens. Some of these games, these teams are playing. Red Bull's obviously playing tonight. Charlotte playing tonight.
So I was actually looking at Houston Dynamo. I think I know they haven't been playing great. They've lost something like 4 of their last 5 now, but Houston's actually a good team at home, believe it or not. As bad as they've played recently, they're really good at home. And like we touched on earlier, Charlotte has 6 wins in the MLS this year. All 6 wins came at home. So I really don't expect them to do a lot on the road. I think the Houston Dynamo are the better team. And considering that you're getting them at plus money at home, I just think maybe the line's a little off because they've lost 5 of their last 6 matches. But really, the last time they played at home, they beat Chicago 2-0, who's not a good team. They're playing against Charlotte here, who's also not a very good team. Houston's also played 4 of their last 5 on the road. All 4 on the road they lost, but that's what I mean. They've been playing a lot on the road. Now, again, they're starting a little home stand here where they play their next 2 at home and 3 of their next 5 at home. But yeah, if you go back and look at these home results, they haven't been playing at home lately, but 2-0 win against Chicago, 1-0 loss to Seattle is a good team. Both teams got carded. 2-0 win against Nashville, and they were red carded in that match. 1-0 against San Antonio, but that was a cup match. But yeah, I think there's value on Houston considering how bad Charlotte is on the road.
Yeah, I think that's probably a Bill. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. I like Darwin Quintero at Houston. I think he scored last night. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for today. I don't know. You got any more games you like there?
Just San Jose because, they've been off for a week. Their last match got postponed because they wanted to have it at Stanford University, and there's a huge power outage there. So that got moved to September. They've had a week off now. They were traveling a lot. They still haven't. They were supposed to play their first at home at that Stanford match, but now they're actually going to be at home in their stadium for this one. against the Chicago Fire, again, one of the worst teams in the league. I think it's probably San Jose spot there.
All right. So make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure you're following all the other people on here, all the other shows. Remember, we got all kinds of shows from noon to 6. I'll be on ESPN tomorrow night. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, ringing the bell, and heading over to the other page over there. And we will be back. You'll be back on Monday. We got a bunch of games. We got Copa Libertadores. We got UEFA Champions League. Finally, there's a lot of UEFA Champions League and Europa League matches. So there's all kinds of stuff going on next week. So tomorrow we got Kaepernick talking about some of these MLS games. So make sure you tune in, and I kind of start looking at those UEFA Champions League games as well tomorrow, I think. So make sure you tune in tomorrow, and we will see you then.